भाई मेरा छोटा Oh yeah, I do. Oh, with you also. Okay, okay, okay. Oh, ครับชั่วโมงแต่เอาของดีที่สุดแล้วก็อีเล็กมันเป็นเฟิร์สนี่ Hello sir, how are you? Nice to meet you. Yes, I will. ก็เป็นไงล่ะโคลอมเบียเลยว่าสวย Yes, please. Hello, how are you? Did you recognize me? Okay. Good Sabahat. Welcome. Good to see you. His Excellency, I don't mind. Oh. Direct non-stop flight. Yes. Oh, inauguration flight. Today I met. Yes, sir. Pakistan's entry into the international market.
Upon the incongruous. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special treat for you. It is a wonderful assortment of Thai and Pakistani music, because after all, synergy is an Asian concept. This performance today, which would be presented before you by a very skilled, talented and accomplished band of musicians, is actually a tribute to His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej and Her Majesty Queen Sirikit's visit to Pakistan in 1962. These musicians come from the same institution that His Majesty visited during his visit to Pakistan. And therefore, we would like to not keep you waiting, as this is only for your listening pleasures, but I am told that the Executive Director of the Lahore Arts Council would like to say a few words. Thank you.
बहुत अच्छी चलो
But nonetheless, I would seize this moment to invite the Honorable Prime Minister and Chaudhry Sabahat Ellahi to kindly rise for the memento distribution ceremony. Anything. Now it's an anticlimax. It's just a seizing of the opportunity now. May I request the first memento recipient, our very own distinguished Mr. Arif Suleiman, to kindly come up and receive his memento. It is a token of our appreciation for his hard work, since he is the only Pakistani to have received the Friend of Thailand Award from the tourism authorities of Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for him.
I didn't know you were getting this lovely award. Here you are.
He's a true friend of.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the TPCC would also take the pleasure of presenting a memento to His Excellency Mr. Thonong Pethia, the Honorable Minister of Commerce of Thailand, as a token of our appreciation and invaluable espousal to the Chamber. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an invaluable souvenir of His Majesty the King's last visit to Pakistan in 1962. This has all the historic press releases compiled together for the Commerce Minister only.
We have pink carpet, which is in the car.
And last but not the least, now the founding president of TPCC would present a memento to the Honorable National Hero, our Prime Minister, His Excellency Mr. SHAUKAT AZIZ. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for him. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Honorable Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, His Excellency Mr. SHAUKAT AZIZ, distinguished Excellencies, members and associates of the Thai-Pakistan Chamber of Commerce, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, good evening and swadika. I am Sidra Iqbal and it is a pleasure to be your host for this prestigious event. On behalf of the Thai-Pakistan Chamber of Commerce, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all our distinguished guests. It is indeed a very promising juncture because it marks a very strong and long association between Thailand and Pakistan. And inshallah, this chamber would come forth as a momentous step further to strengthen this association. Thailand. Thailand indeed is a symbol of enterprise and energy. and an example to the whole of Asia. At this point, I would also like to thank the distinguished Thai ministers for their presence. We are grateful and honored for their wise guidance and their endorsement to the Chamber. Please allow me to also pay a rich tribute to our chief guest, the Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan, His Excellency Mr. SHAUKAT AZIZ. Sir, your sagacious leadership and invaluable support tends the environment for such groundbreaking initiatives. And we would like you to know that your presence at this esteemed occasion is not just an endorsement to the Chamber, but in itself a huge inspiration and a vigorous moment for us. Thank you, sir. A great thinker once said, and I quote, "Real life for most men is a long second best, a perpetual compromise of the ideal and what is possible. But the world of true reason knows no compromises, no practical limitations, no setbacks for the creative thought," unquote. No truer words have ever been spoken, ladies and gentlemen. Idealism, no matter when it is even harboring irrationality, is in fact always marking the upsurge of mankind. Each generation is born today with an unspoken promise to uphold and enhance the highest ideals of a society. And therefore, each generation fails to redeem this pledge because idealistic thoughts know no bounds. Yet, if we look back and reflect, it is not the failure of our battles that disappoint us the most, but the fact that so many times we never mustered the courage to struggle against them. Ladies and gentlemen, apathy, however pacifying, never yields progress. And if Asia is to break the shackles of poverty, corruption, and the economic stagnation, and if it is to evolve from a mere Asian continent into a fraternal Asian community, then we must reignite our passion and our vigor for idealism. And in the process of actualizing this glorious goal, Thailand and Pakistan go a long way down the line. In this, we draw our humble inspiration from the thoroughness, originality, and success of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej's great projects. His sense of involvement, be it a small task or a huge significant task, is so total that he would not relieve himself until it is done to the best of his satisfaction. And a lot has changed since His Majesty's last visit to Pakistan since 1962. Today, the world witnesses Pakistan as the founding ally of the enterprising Thai initiative of the ACD, namely the Asian Cooperation Dialogue. And recently, we also hosted the 4th meeting of ACD in Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at a defining moment in history. We can either grasp this moment and shape our destiny, or let the moment take its toll. And this chamber aspires to do the former. We must make our challenges our opportunities. We must reflect and act quickly and collectively for the sake of our future generations. And on this positive note, ladies and gentlemen, may I have the honor of inviting the visualizer and the actualizer, the founding president of the Thakpai Chamber of Commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Mr. Chaudhry Sabahat Ellahi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Excellency, Mr. SHAUKAT AZIZ, Prime Minister of Pakistan, Excellency Ministers, members of the Prime Minister's entourage, Your Excellency Mir Hussain Baksh Bangalzai, Ambassador of Pakistan to Thailand, Your Excellency Ambassador Pisnu, Ambassador of Thailand to Pakistan, worthy officers of the mission in Thailand, honorable guests, fellow members of the Chamber, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, Sawadee Kap, good evening. It is indeed a matter of pride for the Pakistani business community in Thailand and great honor for me to welcome His Excellency to Thailand and especially to this forum. Sir, we are grateful for the time you have taken out from your busy schedule to meet with us and give all of us the opportunity to share thoughts and discuss ideas in a structured manner which will hopefully lay the foundation for something sustainable and fruitful. Sir, commerce is a very important part of our history and heritage. Our forefathers have traded with the Far East for centuries. For a good part of history, we were the link between so many civilizations. We did not only carry goods for trade, but also our culture, ethics, way of life, and above all, a desire to seek new avenues of growth. Ladies and gentlemen, we who have made a choice to leave our homes and have had the good fortune of seeing some of our dreams materialize, we need to think about what we have left behind. We as expatriates have a duty not only to our near and dear ones, but to our whole nation. With all these intentions in mind, and with a will and imagination to put some of our ideas into actions that some like-minded businessmen in Thailand conceived and developed the idea of a Thai-Pakistan Chamber of Commerce. Let me assure you, sir, that this is not being done by us purely as a social service to our country, but because of our ties with our homeland, it becomes an obvious choice for us to encourage greater flow of goods and services between the two potentially strong partners, Thailand and Pakistan. So let me introduce you to the Thai-Pakistan Chamber of Commerce and the idea behind it. It has a very simple concept. We have a very good G2G relation. It is very cordial and exemplary. However, the people-to-people relation between the two nations is almost non-existent. Tpcc has been formed as a bridge between the private sectors of Thailand and Pakistan with the major goal to promote and enhance trade and investment between the two countries. Excellency, this P2P approach has a lot to offer to both the countries, which have rich traditions and culture and a great opportunity to trade not just in goods, but also services. So Tpcc is a non-political, non-profit, independent body established to serve the business communities of both the countries. With the blessing and support of the Department of Business Development, Ministry of Commerce Thailand, Thai trade representatives, Excellency Prachop Chayasan, Excellency Dr. Pravich, and our good friend Arif Suleiman, President of Pak-Thai Friendship Association. I would like to mention here Excellency Zia Rizvi, Honorary Consul General of Lahore. And sir, we are very grateful to our Ambassador, Excellency Mir Hussain Baksh Bangalzai, for his continuous support that helped materialize the establishment of Tpcc. We are looking forward, sir, to Excellency Bangalzai's continued support in attaining our objectives. We are hopeful that in the near future, we will be able to find a permanent place for Tpcc Secretariat, which will have in-house facilities to hold talks, seminars, meetings, and also it will provide space for a product display center and a business lounge for business communities of both countries to interact in a casual atmosphere. Sir, very briefly, I would like to highlight main objectives of this organization. Sir, our chamber will help private sector to have better market access in both countries, send and receive trade and investment delegations, provide first-hand advice on investment and trade opportunities to the business communities of both sides, assist the private sector dealing with concerned government departments, help and cooperate with government sector in the promotion of trade and investment, interact with other business forums, identify and explore new business and trading activities, conduct research and development to serve the needs of the private sector, and, sir, to promote tourism. Apart from its commercial role, the Chamber will provide more casual opportunities of networking by organizing cultural activities such as the one we have today also, sir, such as food festivals, musical and sports events in both countries. We are planning on organizing some polo matches here in Thailand, some tent pegging in Thailand, so that we can share both the cultures. Sir, with the dedication and hard work at this initial stage by all the founding members, I can assure you that this chamber has an extremely bright future in the years to come. Sir, I would like to take this opportunity and use this occasion to launch a formal appeal for fundraising to our two governments and business communities so that this chamber becomes fully functional and effective at the earliest. At the end, sir, I would like to thank you, Excellency, once again for taking time to joining us in celebrating another milestone in Pak-Thai friendship. Today, sir, your presence amongst us is a great confidence booster to all of us. I thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now, everyone is interested in future. Everybody would want to know what would happen, especially in the business world. Now, gazing at the crystal ball can be both interesting and tedious. But then again, it is an essential when it comes to the business world. And therefore, we would like to have people on board and whose espousal would be so very, it would be so immensely treasured by us because they have the vision and they have the experience to guide us and to forecast, because after all, forecasting is but educated guessing. So ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming a very educated forecaster, somebody with vision and the right kind of mix of experience and education to guide us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Ambassador of Pakistan to Thailand, His Excellency Mir Hussain Bakhsh Bangalzai.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Prime Minister, Excellencies, distinguished Thai business community, and my Pakistani brethren, Assalamu alaikum. I am availing this opportunity to express my profound thanks to Tpcc for their gracious words for me, and wish to congratulate them on their achievement. I feel proud that Honorable Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, His Excellency Mr. SHAUKAT AZIZ, during his official visit to Thailand, has consented to grace the 2 days evening. Distinguished guests, please welcome Honorable Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Mr. SHAUKAT AZIZ.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Your Excellency, Minister of Commerce of Thailand, Mr. Badaya, Chaudhry Sabahat, Ellahi Sahab, the Honorable Ambassador of Pakistan to Thailand, Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a real privilege to be in your midst today and see so many familiar faces in this event, which marks the opening of the Thai-Pakistan Chamber of Commerce. My visit to your beautiful country is part of a tour of ASEAN, and it reflects Pakistan's vision of its linkage with East Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, this century, in our view, will be the Asian century. And South Asia, East Asia, and North Asia will have to come together to exploit the opportunities which exist before us. Our relations with Thailand are very deep, and we share many things in common. We share a common heritage. Pakistan has had a very strong link with this part of the world because a long time ago, Buddhism spread from Pakistan to Asia. In the university in Taxila and the monasteries in Swat and Takhtbai, you can see the origins of Buddhism and the spread of Buddhism all over Asia. We also have had historical links in economic cooperation, security cooperation, and many other fields. Pakistan and Thailand have been yet very close, yet too far, because the economic relations have not reached their full potential. I won't go into the reasons why, but one of the major focuses of our trip to Thailand this time is to meet my friend of 15 years, Mr. Thaksin Shinawatra, your Honorable Prime Minister, and his colleagues, to see how we can open new doors of cooperation between our two countries. Now, the question which may come to your mind is why Pakistan? And I think that's a fair question. So let me spend the next few minutes trying to address this. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan is a country of 150 million people, located at the crossroads of South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East. It is a sizable market in its own right, but its location allows it to be a focal point for relations with other countries in that region. Pakistan has gone through a very comprehensive program in the last 6 years of economic reform, and economic situation today is looking pretty good. This year, we expect GDP growth of well over 7%, and clearly we will be in the top 10 countries of Asia in terms of economic growth. This growth, which was 6.4% last year, has been achieved on the back of very deep and broad structural reforms covering every aspect of government. We believe that the fundamentals of our economic reform are based on 3 pillars: deregulation, privatization, and liberalization. We believe it is not the government's business to be in business and have created an enabling environment for the private sector to flourish. As a result, investment has picked up and foreign investment is also coming in. One of the problems we face today is shortage of hotel rooms because the number of visitors are much more than what they used to be. But this is a good problem to have. And in Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad, very often you can't find a place to have your stay because there are too many people coming. As a result, the number of hotel projects coming up in Pakistan has increased, and we hope that this situation will be resolved soon. As part of the reforms, we have addressed every facet of economic management. The fiscal situation has improved, the deficits are down, we have prepaid expensive debt, we have accessed euro markets for bond issues and have been very heavily oversubscribed. We have reserves of almost 1 year's imports. Our growth trajectory looks good, and the biggest asset Pakistan has is its human capital. Our people are second to none. They just need opportunity. And that is what the government is trying to provide. We do have challenges too. We have to fight poverty. We have to make sure growth is consistent. And we have to ensure that the overall macroeconomic situation continues to progress and grow. Exchange rate is stable, like the Thai baht. Our growth rate is good, like the Thai growth rate. And the structural reforms we have introduced are producing results. Today, 85% of Pakistan's banking sector, I'm so happy to see Tony sitting here. He is an icon of the financial sector in Asia, and his family and his bank needs no introduction. But for your benefit, I would say 85% of our banking sector is private, and of that, almost half is owned by foreign investors. Pakistan has no distinction between local and foreign investors. Pakistan gives a level playing field to everybody. You can go in, buy 100% of a company or property, and sell and take your money out. There are no restrictions at all. So we have opened up the economy, and our mindset is now very liberal. We offer a level playing field to all investors, because that is the way to go. Globalization is facing us as an opportunity. If we don't take this challenge, it could become a threat. So Pakistan has decided that we will face it head on. Now, in terms of opportunities in Pakistan, there are several. And I'm so privileged today that we have over 10 to 15 top Pakistani captains of business here in our midst today. And while I was having a meeting every hour today and yesterday and tomorrow, I hope they have talked to their counterparts and seen how opportunities can be created. We are not here to tell our private sectors where the opportunity is, but to our Thai guests, I would like to share, in my view, what the opportunities do exist in Pakistan today. There are several, but one area where we have a lot of room to grow is the housing sector and the real estate development sector, an area which Thailand has excelled in. We need office space, we need housing, we need shopping malls, and we need real estate developers. Mostly in Pakistan, real estate development was mixed with contracting. And as you know, these are two very different subjects, totally different. Now we need contractors too, because today we are expanding our infrastructure, roads, bridges, dams, etc. We are short of contractors. We are getting an influx of Chinese contractors, some from Turkey, and some now coming from Malaysia. I don't see why Thai contractors can't come and bid. There are no restrictions at all on any foreign company getting a government or private contract. You can come in, bid, and if your price is right and you pre-qualify, you will be given the contract. So it's as simple as that. So both real estate and hotels, of course, which I'll talk about in a second. The second area where we think there's a lot of opportunity is tourism. Our Minister of Tourism is here. Would you stand up and be acknowledged? Please give him a big hand. He has a very challenging task and an easy task. It's challenging because Pakistan, we want to put on the map of world tourism. His task is easy because we get no tourists, so it can only go up. You can't have negative tourist flows. We get about 100,000 people a year, which is a rounding error for most. And look at Thailand, you get millions, 12 million, I think. Yeah. So that's, even if he goes to 1 million, we will crown him in a very special way. Now, we are also thinking of opening up our linkages with East Asia, because that's where a lot of the tourist potential is. And actually, religious tourism, going to the Buddhist sacred sites in Pakistan, alone can attract a lot of people. So we have agreed with the Thai government that we will increase flights of Pakistan Airlines here and TG to Pakistan. There are already, I think, 7 flights. They'll go to 9 per week. and even more if needed, and PIA will increase its flights here too. I think the potential is very, very high. We look at Bangkok as a hub for ASEAN and for Asia. So it is not just local traffic, but they can pick up many other areas. The other area for interest to foreign investors is IT and telecommunications. Here too, our entire sector is driven by deregulation of the industry and the sector. We have, 3 years ago, we had 2.5 million mobile phone subscribers. We have 9 million today, and in 18 months, we'll have 18 million. And according to your Prime Minister, who knows this business better than anybody, our potential is 50 million. We have the minister here. The Minister of IT and Telecoms. He's quiet today because after lunch today, his target has gone up to 50 million connections. But there's a tremendous opportunity for telecoms in Pakistan. Broadband, wireless local loop, cellular phones, landlines, long distance, I can go on and on. Then we come to IT and business process outsourcing. This is another area we are focusing on. We have a large pool of software experts and English-speaking people who can provide the necessary expertise. And we think we can learn from India in this area, and we are learning, and we will hope to expand this whole area very substantially. The third area where I think Thailand and Pakistan can work well together is agro-based industry. Thailand knows how to pack anything and export it, which is edible. In Pakistan, we have fruit and meat and other agricultural products rotting because we don't have agribusiness industry. So what we have encouraged our private sector to do is to touch base, and we are meeting some people. We met some people today, we'll meet more tomorrow, to come and use this big potential of agricultural products and package them and sell them to markets where they are needed. Fisheries, aquaculture, meat packing, dairy products. Dairy we are doing very well. Nestle is in Pakistan, and the chairman of Nestle Pakistan, where is he? Would you stand up, please? Could you, sir, tell everybody what your profit rates are? I think by any standard, 150% returns would be acceptable to most investors. So that's the chairman of Nestle who's accompanying us. And this just tells you about the potential. Now, what is happening in Pakistan is with the growth rising, what you are seeing is an increase in the middle class. And like you've seen in Thailand too, I've been familiar with the economy here. In Thailand, when you got consistent growth over several years, the middle class starts spending. And this is not as simple as just finance being available. What drives spending is a feeling of a better future. It's psychological. And anybody who knows how a consumer's financial pattern works will tell you that the psyche is more important than availability of credit. Availability of credit is generally available. But people have to feel good, willing to spend today for a better tomorrow. And that's what the phase we are in, with the result that motorcycles, we are going to produce 500,000 this year. We used to produce 150,000 3 years ago. And automobiles, we are going to produce 140,000 this year. We used to produce 35,000 3 years ago. So there's exponential growth. What we have to ensure is that this growth is equitable and it's distributed. And the vulnerable in society, the lower income groups, they have alternate sources of income. We have taken another idea from Thailand, which is the one village, one product, or one tambon, one product, right? I got it right? From OTOP. And I was talking about this to the Prime Minister and even His Majesty this evening about this concept and how we are going to try to implement it in Pakistan to create income for the rural areas, for rural development, and to help the most vulnerable get their standard of living up. So these are some of the areas. In tourism, of course, we need hotels, and the more the merrier. And once we get the hotels going, then we can bring tours from all over to show them the Buddhist heritage. And very exciting areas. There are many other areas for investment. One other area relevant to Thailand and Pakistan is gems and jewelry. Pakistan has huge supply of gems. We make jewelry too, but we have no expertise in gem cutting. And if we get the gem cutting going, we can expand the jewelry industry even more. So if anybody here has an interest in jewelry, let me say that this would be a very attractive. Now, engineering sector, textile sector, any manufacturing sector, yes, there's a lot of opportunity for investment in Pakistan because of domestic market, regional market, and growth. Now, why Thailand? I see a very bright future for Thailand and Pakistan economic relations, because today, Dr. Thaksin Shinawatra and I agreed that we would go into a free trade agreement negotiation. We will have an early harvest program. So tariffs in both countries for each other's products would be lower than they are normally today. Now that gives enough of an incentive for people to start thinking. If we trade more and we trade investment, I think we will see much more opportunity to grow. So the FTA was very important for us. And I was very pleased that your government has in principle agreed to start the negotiations. And we'll go for an early harvest so we can see some results quickly. We're also going to finalize our investment treaty very soon so that investors from Thailand can be comfortable as to what their rights are. And as I said, we are a very open, liberal-minded economy. So you'll find that the red tape is much less than you would have otherwise felt. Now, in addition, ladies and gentlemen, we are also open for business in any other sector which may be of interest to the investor. And the only way to find out what the opportunity is and how we can exploit it is obviously to talk to our private sector and definitely visit the country. And with more flights and more easy travel from Bangkok to Pakistan, I think this will happen. We are also trying to convince, actually, the Commerce Minister, your Commerce Minister who's here, former banker, you all know him. They are hoping to have a single country exhibition in Karachi in the next couple of months so that our people can see your products. And on trade, we are very open. We buy from anywhere in the world so long as the price is right and the quality is okay. So, the Commerce Minister, thank you for this initiative. It's actually yours. And Tariq, you will help organize it. And we'll do the same here. We'll do the same in Thailand so that both countries' entrepreneurs can see what is available, what is not. Now, before I conclude, let me say that this has been a very worthwhile trip for us, and we hope that the momentum we are generating will take the relations between the two countries forward. Now, today we are here to celebrate the opening and inauguration of the Thailand-Pakistan Chamber of Commerce. I think I reflect everybody's feeling that starting anything new is challenging. And to have a Chamber of Commerce here which will institutionalize the relationship between the two private sectors can only give a good boost, a fillip to our economic relations. And I must especially note the excellent contribution of Chaudhry Sabahat Ellahi. Please stand up so we can give you a hand too, because I know how difficult it is to get anything started, anywhere. And through your perseverance, your tenacity, your commitment, you have delivered. Phase 1. Phase 2 will be to get the investment going, Phase 3, and trade going. And what we are doing for you is the FTA. So FTA provides more share of mind of the businessmen here and in Pakistan because there's tariff advantage. So we'll continue to do that. Thank you very much. I think I apologize for being late. We were flying in from Hua Hin. It took a while. And I know that in Thailand, you eat early. In Pakistan, we start eating around midnight. So we are not going to serve food at midnight. Let me also, before I end, compliment our hosts for a real imaginative menu. The Pakistanis will get a very good taste of Thai food. Incidentally, Thai food is very popular in Pakistan. We have chefs from Bangkok and many hotels who are cooking this. but you'll also get a taste of Pakistani food today. So enjoy your evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being such a lovely audience. And long live Pakistan-Thailand friendship. Thank you very much.
खुल रहा था लेकिन आपका ऑफिस मैं तो पहुंच जाता था आई हैव लॉट लेट नाइट एक्टिविटी कराची दावत दावत मतलब बिजनेस दावत है ना सोशल फ्रेंड्स की दावत बहुत होते हैं तो ड्रिंकिंग क्राउड वाले ना like 1 o'clock, 1:30. If I'm at home, I try to sleep around midnight. That's a decent hour. 9:30, 10:30 तो सवाल ही नहीं है. वो तो मेरा कमी मेरा I need like that. I need it for the longer. Okay, the class is very
इसीलिए तो बाबा के साथ तो बाबा ने मुझे बताया कि जाओ यहाँ से भाई नहीं करूँगा नहीं करूँगा सारे कदम होंगे होपफुली 12 खास तौर पर सियासत जो उतारे जा रहे हैं खाने जाने तारिक भाई आ जा भाई काकी तो साड़ी फोटो
ये फिल्टर से मुलाकात है सी फूड वहाँ से भेजते हैं ये भी आयुष सी फूड वहाँ से रह गए
आप आते रहते हैं यहाँ पर
हमने फोन
ये मेरे दोस्त थे
एक मिनट
नहीं ये मेरे दोस्त
आप
थे
नहीं देखो मैं आपको ईमानदारी के साथ बताया कि मेरे आने के बाद तो नासिर भाई कह रहे हैं कि फोन क्यों नहीं बताया
एक ये बहुत
very active. Rubber field is like it's not like a normal सब का field शायद अलग है but every hour change हो सकता है आज बारिश हुई थाईलैंड में कल रबर का प्राइस आसमान में जैसे लग रहा है पेट्रोकेमिकल इज ऑयल बेस्ड कल इराक को बम मारा तो वो बढ़ गया या तो ऑयल भी आगे भी we have to book in advance and we have to sell and all that. Oil के साथ oil पे supply demand oil is one major factor.
पहले वो यहाँ से ट्रैफिक है ना वर्किंग डे है ना तो 1 घंटा शायद लगेगा वेबसाइट जल्दी निकलना चाहिए थैंक यू
Doctor Sabahat
Never mind, whenever you have like a Dr. Sabahat going to put your one week only, but whenever you want to see him concerning about his he's in charge of industrial estate.
आगे
ये भी एक ईमेल जिसका जिसका है उसको मिल जाएगा
क्या दवाई है जबरदस्त पिक्चर है क्या
रिकॉर्ड कवर पे फंसे एंड वेंट लाइक अ बुलेट टू द जो शॉट साला कैच भी हो रहा है वेंट लाइक अ बुलेट एक्शन